Hi, this is the first episode of the Godless Roundtable, the first round. Our topic today is to kind of give a primer to atheism, an introduction, at least to my beliefs. Um, First of all, what I want to do is define God, because if we're going to be talking about the truth, whether or not God exists, we need to have a baseline to discuss. And so I think that coming up with um, a definition of God is going to be the best first step. First of all, if you ask 1,000 people to define God, of course you're going to get 1,000 different answers. So we need to really come up with a something that can be all-encompassing as a definition. So my first thing to do is I'm going to say that God is the omniscient, omnipotent, and just all-knowing, all-powerful being. He's the creator of the universe, probably started before the universe, and um, can do anything he wants with the universe because he created it. He knows what's going on in the universe, so he's all knowing. And got a God, he's got God's will. So this is really kind of a Judeo-Christian idea, but it's not really meant to be. Of course, I say he as in reference to God, but it could be a she or an it or multiple gods. It's just a way for me to say it. It doesn't mean that I'm thinking of one specific God. So with that in mind, um, I wanted to talk about proving God. This is all about truth. Does God exist or does God not exist? It's a black and white A and B answer. He either does or he doesn't. And so, how do we go about proving that, or deciding whether or not he does exist or he doesn't? Uh, Carl Sagan basically said the line that's perfect for me is that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And really, what that means is if you're going to have something that you claim to be true, you need to back it up with evidence. Um, you know, it's the same with proving whether or not God exists versus proving whether or not the store down the street exists, or your neighbor exists, or whatever. If you're going to claim something, and especially if it's something extraordinary like the existence of God, you need to have evidence to back it up. And you could say on the flip, I could tell you, show me evidence that God exists. And people could say, well, show me evidence that God does not exist, or proof that God does not exist. And really, you can't prove a negative. I can't say for 100% certain that God does not exist because I can't look everywhere in the universe. I can't turn every leaf. I can't look at every asteroid in the universe. I can't. We can't do that. It's the same with anything. I can't disprove that ghosts exist. I can't disprove that Bigfoot exists because just because I don't have that evidence, you know, there's no way for me to disprove it. But at some point, you have to decide whether or not to believe a claim based on just hearsay or belief. Um, I don't believe that Bigfoot exists, and my views would change if you showed me significant evidence that was pretty much irrefutable that yes, Bigfoot indeed exists, or same thing with unicorns or fairies or whatever. I'm putting God to the same idea. If you claim that God exists, you need to have proof. I mean, that's the bottom line. Um, and we can go back and forth about what you consider proof, but that's not necessarily for this episode. I do in the future want to get into logic and reasoning and logical fallacies and things that people claim to be proof of God but actually are not. But for now, the baseline bottom part of what I really want to talk about is just that if you claim that God exists, you have to have proof. And atheism, basically, in the nutshell, is of that belief, but we just have not seen significant proof to show that God exists. Um, I don't disclaim stuff a priori. It's just that's the way it is. You know, I put the same ideas to scientific measure too. I don't necessarily believe that the universe started with the Big Bang without having significant proof. We have proof of the way we think the universe began. It may not necessarily be true, but we actually have evidence to support the claims, and that's what the kind of litmus test I want in terms of proving whether or not God exists. So that's the basis of atheism in a nutshell. Of course, there's a lot more into it, but for now, that's all I wanted to talk about.